Hello and welcome back to episode number 18 of the Smart Start Recreational Therapy Insights YouTube series by Smart CU's Hub. I'm your host, Nathan Lamaster, the founder of Smart CU's Hub. And thank you guys again for stopping by and watching these videos as we produce them. Again, as I say in every video, our goal is to get to 52 this year. So we'll have one for every single week. And so far, so good. We have kept true to our word. And on Mondays, every single week, we will release these at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. So guys, if you have enjoyed these videos, just please like the video and subscribe subscribe to the channel so that you get these videos in your inbox every single week. And just diving right on in today, we'll be talking about mindfulness and relaxation techniques. So whether you work in a behavioral health setting, long-term care setting, etc., these mindfulness and relaxation techniques will be a great intervention tool for your tool belt. So hopefully you find some things today valuable and that you can incorporate them in your practices. Without further ado, let's dive right on in. All right, let's start with what is mindfulness. Okay, mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment without any judgment. It helps people observe their thoughts, their emotions, and any sensations when they arise and respond thoughtfully instead of reactively. So, in recreational therapy, mindfulness can reduce stress and anxiety. It can improve focus and emotional regulation. It can support pain management and promote a sense of calm and safety. And the best part, it's incredibly flexible. You could do it pretty much anywhere. You could practice it through movement. You could practice it out in nature. You could practice it through creative arts or simply just sitting and using your breath. All right, let's talk about some popular relaxation techniques in recreational therapy. 1, deep breathing. You've probably heard of this many, many times if you've gone to a lot of conferences, but deep breathing actually has some science behind it. It helps to slow down the heart rate so that if you're feeling anxious, etc., your heart rate is naturally raised, and when you lower it down, those anxiety feelings start going away and become more manageable. Okay, so this is also known as diaphragmatic or belly breathing. It slows the heart rate and lowers your blood pressure. And we're going to practice this today. We're going to try this today. We're going to do a test here. So I want you to find a spot that you're comfortable and sit back in your seat like so. Make sure your back is touching the back of the seat and your feet are firmly planted on the ground. Okay. And I want we're going to do this in counts of 4. Okay, so we're going to do an inhale, so deep from the belly. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hold for 2 seconds. And exhale for 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll do this one more time. I won't say it this time. We'll just do it together. Okay? And inhale. Hold it. And exhale. What you're forcing your body to do is to take in the oxygen that you give it, which feeds your blood cells that go in through your veins and out through your arteries, and get that blood flowing to the right parts of the body, and forces your heart rate to match up with your breaths so it slows it down. So that's something you can use in your practice. Okay, now we're going to move on to progressive muscle relaxation. It's another hot topic word that you might hear at conferences or online via the Smart CU's Hub courses, for instance. Okay, so progressive muscle relaxation is tensing and releasing each muscle group. When you tense a muscle group, for instance, you tense your bicep. You see how it grows? And when it's growing, it's filling with blood, okay? and blood contains oxygen, okay? And when you flex it and then you relax it, that blood is like it's squeezing into a sponge and then releasing, okay? And what you're doing is doing this for each of your body parts. It'll help with reducing stress in your body, as a lot of times we hold stress in our muscles. We hold it in our upper back a lot of times. I know for me, my neck can get really stiff and kind of painful. And fortunately, my wife knows exactly how to hit the right spot, and that helps get rid of that stress. But if you are alone and you want to practice this muscle relaxation technique, we'll go through that today in just a short example, okay? So what I want you to do again is lean back in your seat, all the way back. Put your feet firmly on the floor. We're going to start with our toes and work our way up to our head, okay? So this is what I want you to do first. I want you to push down on the floor with your legs. Okay, you can feel that in your calf muscles. I want you to push up with your toes, and now you even feel it more. You feel your calf muscle clenching, right? You're filling it with blood. And in fact, okay, the muscle that contains the most blood for its size in your whole body is your calf muscles. Okay, your calf muscles, because they're the furthest large muscle group down your body, right? Actively help your heart. Okay, so when you run or when you jump or when you do any type of exercise that involves your calf muscles, they will help your heart have to work less. Okay, so we're going to do that and relax and go completely relax. Take your breaths again. Feel like your feet are melting into the floor, right? And now we're going to work on our thighs, so our quads, okay? Our quads are up higher than our knee. So if you don't know what that is, okay? And what I want you to do there is I want you to push out your legs. Put them straight out in front of you and squeeze. And what you're doing there is you're activating your front quads right there, and you feel them getting tighter. If you feel down on your legs, you'll feel them getting tighter. Okay, and squeeze and relax. Okay, you might even do this again just because you want to. Go into it and squeeze and relax. Okay, moving up to the stomach, the core area. Right now, what I want you to do is I want you to take a deep breath in and out. And when you're at the bottom, squeeze those ab muscles. Squeeze once you breathe out. And just hold it. Yeah, I feel that. That feels good. And relax. And you could do that over again if you want to. And we're going to still move up, okay? We're going to do our chest and our arms, okay? So what we're going to do for our chest and our arms is we're going to use the sides of our chair if you have sides available, or if you have something to lean up against to stretch your arms. You're going to push down, right? This activates the tricep muscle in the back of the arm. This is also the position you'll be in for dips if you want to learn how to do dips for exercise. Okay, and you're also using your chest muscles, your pectoris muscles. Okay, and relax. Okay, and you're going to take your muscle across and get those delts, that shoulder muscle right there. Get that shoulder muscle on the other side. Squeeze and relax. Okay, and then we're going to work on our neck. We're going to go down and push it to your chest. And squeeze. Relax. Pull back. Push back. And squeeze to the side, left, or your right, whichever. Squeeze. And to the other side. And squeeze. And what we're going to do for our traps, which is our upper back, we're going to push our shoulders up and kind of, instead of pushing ourselves out of our chair this time, we're just going to push up and let those muscles in the back stretch as well as flex, get filled with blood. And that feels so good to me. That's like my stress spot right there. You can kind of push the shoulder blades together while you're doing it and relax. Okay, so that's something you can use in your practice as a recreational therapist to help with stress and anxiety. Okay, we're going to move on to guided imagery. So, guided imagery leads clients through peaceful mental scenes like a forest trail or walking along a beach. What I like to do is I like to tell the clients to visualize some place in their life that they think of when they think of the word peace. Okay, what are they doing while they're walking down or being in that area? For me personally, like I have a lot of areas out in nature. At my home, my backyard is like my sanctuary. I like to keep it looking pretty. I like to, go out there, get the fresh breath. Sometimes I even work from outside, do my businesses from outside and just get on my laptop out there. But while I am there in my head, I am thinking of the birds chirping. I am thinking of the squirrels running along the fence line. I'm thinking of hearing the lawnmower next to me or, whatever else I am hearing right there that brings me back to a place of peace. I'm like, all is right with the world. Okay? Could be walking down the beach. Could be under a waterfall. Whatever the thing might be for you. And that's perfectly fine. Okay? It can be scripted, so you might want to use something off of YouTube. You could do guided meditation or guided imagery and write that into YouTube, and you'll actually find videos on that. And you could just kind of follow along with them or have your group follow along with them. And one of the really key benefits of this is it supports emotional regulation and mental escape. Okay, you're dealing with something right now, let's say it's causing you stress. Okay, stress and anxiety are related in the sense of where you feel lack of control, you feel like you need to act quickly, you're maybe afraid. In our human evolution, they say that what this used to be was to protect us from predators, but nowadays, a lot of times, we're just stressed out or anxious about paying bills, or maybe it's missing an appointment, or something someone said, or whatever else. It's a lot different, right? But these things can cause us some stress and anxiety, right? And this is a great way to put yourself in that peaceful place that gives you that serene feeling, and get your mind off of it so that your anxiety levels start to go. So you can combine all three if you'd like. Progressive muscle relaxation, guided imagery, breaths, they're all great, okay? Another one is called the body scan. So this encourages awareness of physical sensations from head to toe, okay? Builds interception and helps with grounding. So just to give an example of this, okay? Sit back in your seat again with your feet on the ground, your arms to your side, your eyes closed, okay? And listen for whatever is going on around you. Okay, I'm going to stop talking for a second so you can really pay attention to what's going on around you. I hear a clock ticking. I feel my feet on the ground, on my carpet. I feel my back up against the back of my chair. I feel the hat on my head because it's tight. Focusing on your breaths even. The feeling of air going in and out. All right, what do you smell right now? Do you smell anything? Do you taste anything? I have leftover coffee in my mouth, so I taste that. And what you're doing with this is you're grounding the person to their current situation. So you're involving as many of the senses as possible. And the reason why you're closing your eyes is when you shut off one sense or sense of sight, your other senses then become more engaged. And so you're able to focus on them more. Okay, so take yourself out of the situation you're in, close your eyes. Maybe even if you want to do sensory deprivation, you could do that where you put noise canceling headphones on, right? And now you can't hear, you can't see, and you're forced to just feel, taste, and smell. Plug your nose, can't smell anymore, whatever the thing might be. And what you're doing is you're getting them to realize their surroundings and really connect with those things. Okay, and finally, breath and movement. Breath and movement includes mindful walking, yoga, Tai Chi is a great one. If you have never checked out Chair Chi by Pat Griffin, he goes to a lot of conferences in recreational therapy. He's an awesome dude. He teaches Chair Chi, so it's Tai Chi in a seated position, which you can use with your clients that are wheelchair bound. You can use with your ambulatory clients as well, who just, they can just find a seat somewhere, and pretty much anyone at any ability level can do it. So it's a great tool. Highly recommend you guys check him out and check out Chair Chi. Okay, so this integrates physical activity and relaxation for full body benefit. So we're combining multiple of these things that we just talked about. So I hope you found this section useful, and my examples of these things you can actually implement now that you've seen them. You could rewatch the video over again to kind of get my cues and my feedback of each of these things, but these are a great set of tools for you to use as a recreational therapist. Now we're moving on to adapting mindfulness for different populations. So we got to be aware of the different populations that we work with. Okay. I can give you a story before we begin. I was working in behavioral health, and it was a geriatric behavioral health unit. And we were doing a guided imagery session where everyone had their eyes closed. We were around in a circle. I turned the lights off even, and had a script where we were going through, a scenario where like I was saying the words, and your goal is to be kind of monotone while you read it. If you're going to read the script, you don't want them to, have any ups and downs. You want them to just let their mind go. Well, what happened with this lady that was in one of my classes, she had suffered PTSD and stress, and she had a really high anxiety level. And when she took away the way her mind was racing all the time, and she started doing that, it really freaked her out and made her anxiety level even increase. So what I want to point out here is that although it works for many people, there are going to be certain people that you should be aware of that it can actually do more harm than good to do these techniques because of trauma, because of high anxiety levels. Okay, so keep that in mind. Talk with your treatment team. That's a great way to find out these things beforehand. Also listen to your clients as they let you know. They're going to be the best way to tell you, is this something that's actually achieving the result, or is it not achieving the results you're after? So, all right, so we're going to go through different populations now. For kids, okay, so kids, you can use breathing with bubbles, guided stories, or short visual meditations, okay? Something that's short, something that's fun. Kids love things that with bubbles. My daughter loves bubbles. What kid doesn't really? So bubbles are actually a great way to kind of have a feeling of peace, okay? For individuals with cognitive impairments, you will use simple instructions. So make sure that these are simple instructions, like do this, then this, then this, then this. You don't want to go complex because that could actually lead to confusion and missing the whole benefit of the session or the activity, okay? And focus on repetition and sensory input. So things like feeling, smelling, hearing, those types of things, okay? All right, for older adults, okay, we could try chair yoga, chair chi, right, we talked about earlier, music assisted relaxation. So what I like to do with music, for instance, and music assisted relaxation is I choose music purposely that has no lyrics, so that the mind isn't thinking about what the person is saying or when they're singing. or trying to sing along in their head. What they're doing is just strictly focusing on the music, and the beat of the music, the tempo, all those things impact their heart rate as well as their mind to kind of bring it into an ease state. Okay, so that's a really good thing to think about. Incorporate familiar environments or memories. So instead of maybe, let's say they're in a nursing home and they don't get out much, but they remember back when they were younger, going to the drive-ins or going to the sock hop or I don't know, whatever the thing might be that they did when they were young. It really is useful to know the time period that the people that you are serving lived in, so you can kind of put them back in those positive memories, those positive things that they used to do. Okay. Now, another population is clients with trauma history. So we talked about, the client that I had who it actually did more harm than good. And that was a lesson learned. So you want to offer them choices, okay, instead of forcing them into stillness, because stillness can freak them out, like I just said. So offering them choices, letting them be in control, that sense of control, right, helps bring down anxiety. And so when you're dealing with a trauma or an anxiety, the best thing to do is offer choices. Let them be in control of what they do and what they don't do. Okay? Use movement-based grounding or object focus awareness. We're going to stare at this thing. We're going to turn all the lights off. We got this really cool lava lamp in the middle, and I want you to watch the bubbles move up and down. Or another one that's really hypnotizing, if you are in the outdoor setting and you have a fire pit, I don't know for you, but for me, fire can be mesmerizing, right? Just watching it crackle, watching it, the shapes and the way that it burns is really cool. So that could be in a place of relaxation. Obviously, don't do that with a burn victim client. I know that's a bad joke, but serious. Don't do that with a burn victim client. That might cause more trauma. So use your good judgment here. Okay, and then emphasize safety, control, and consent, right? That is the biggest thing for people who had trauma. All right, moving on to therapeutic outcomes and best practices. So we want to be the best rec therapists that we can be. And so we're going to be looking into what are the best practices and incorporating this in your sessions in your tool belt. Okay, so they are backed by research and clinical practice. Okay, evidence shows that they can reduce anxiety and depression, improve sleep, enhance mood and emotional regulation, lower blood pressure, and improve pain tolerance. These are all things that have been proven by science. So feel free to use this in your practice because this has already been proven that it works. Okay. And some tips for implementation. So start small, even with just 2 or 3 minutes, right? Start with those. Have the clients only doing, very short sessions to kind of test how they respond before going deeper. Let's say they respond really well to it, then feel free to go deeper. But if, like, for instance, you had somebody in your group like I did with trauma, don't force them to be in that for very long if you can. So practice what you preach, right? Rec therapists, a lot of times we preach a lot of things and we don't do it ourselves. I imagine that's the same with most professions, right? They talk about, yeah, you should do this. It's like the doctor that you go to that smokes cigars or cigarettes, right? They talk about heart health and they talk about lungs and all this stuff all day long. And here they are going on their smoke break and smoking a cigar, right? They don't necessarily practice what they preach, okay? Our goal is to be better than we were yesterday. So we're going to try to practice what we preach as well. So if we're going to have the clients do it, we should also be doing it. Okay, reinforce consistency. Routine leads to resilience. Okay, mindfulness doesn't have to mean meditation or on a mountaintop or in front of an ocean. Okay, in RT, it could mean coloring. It could be walking in nature. It could be humming. It could be listening to music. It could be breathing with intention, guided imagery, all the different things that we talked about today. Those are all within the scope of mindfulness and can be implemented in a variety of settings that rec therapists work in. All right, now we're up to the wrap-ups and takeaways for today. Okay, so mindfulness is being present without judgment. Relaxation techniques reduce stress and promote calmness or peace. Adapt these tools for their age, ability, and comfort level. Also take into account trauma histories, right? And even brief, simple practices can make a big impact. So start small, work your way up. These are the key takeaways from today that I hope you got. And thanks for tuning in for this episode number 18 of the Smart Start Recreational Therapy Insights YouTube series by Smart CU's Hub. And if this episode has helped you, give it a like and subscribe. Right? That helps the channel grow. It helps more people find out about this YouTube series. And also share it with your fellow RTs. That might be helpful for them too, to learn some of these techniques and use them in their practice. Okay? And if you feel so inclined, in the comment section below, tell me, what's your favorite go-to relaxation technique? Okay, which relaxation techniques have you used in your practice? And maybe we can learn some more things that we can add to our tool belts from that. Okay, so next week, guys, we're going to be going on to episode number 19. And we're heading outside, so we'll be doing this from a different setting. I know my office is beautiful, per se, but this is actually where I actually don't do a lot of work from my office. Actually, I said earlier in this that I work from outside a lot. So we're going to go outside and we're going to enjoy nature, and we're going to be using the therapeutic use of nature and horticulture in recreational therapy is going to be our topic for next week. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you found it valuable, and happy Monday. And as always, recreational therapists, stay classy.